Hey everyone, Talk to Me is a great new horror film about a group of friends who use an embalmed hand to conjure spirits, and they get hooked on the high that comes with connecting with the dead. This film is a home run in the world of horror. Stick around and hear why this film works so well. And remember, hit the subscribe button while you're here. Let me know that you're out there. So, I grew up next to a graveyard, and you have to get next level with your storytelling in films to scare me. And I'm tired of the gore movies, the gory scenes that are kind of released as horror. No, good horror storytelling goes much deeper than physical trauma. It enters into the psychological, the supernatural, or both. And Talk to Me does all of this. And it uses some smartly chosen tropes and tools to craft truly terrific moments of terror throughout a well-written script that is brought to life by actress Sophie Wilde. Now, she plays the character Mia, but all the actors did an excellent job in this film. But Sophie is a standout. So there's a long history of phrenology in horror. There are some great stories that use objects that mirror human anatomy to identify areas that indicate abilities and traits depending on the shape, texture, and size of those areas. You often see phrenologist anatomy in horror stories because they serve as bridges to the psychological, the physical, and the spiritual. Plus, they're creepy as hell. We also see body limbs in horror. They're either severed and replaced with, I don't know, something like a mechanical limb, or they're deformed in some way that is deeply inhuman looking. The more unnatural the body or the body part looks while retaining some semblance of humanity, the more disturbing it is. And Talk to Me's use of a severed hand is horror gold. Talk to Me draws on traditional ghost story elements that feel familiar by using objects to open a gateway between the worlds of the living and the dead. In this case, they use a psychic's embalmed hand that is covered with plaster and then written on it, creating a distorted medium's version of hand phrenology. The film uses candles to open and close spiritual doorways, words to call in and invite spirits, and psychological manipulation to make characters unpredictable. What's special about Talk to Me as a horror film is how the writers kind of combine these familiar elements, which are somewhat overused, together to make a fresh and uncluttered story. Then the directors take that story and they play to humanity's basic nature, which drives them to explore the unknown. Our curiosity, our need to feel something, and our desire for danger laced with safety nets, all these things feed the character's decisions to use the hand and then keep using it over and over again, unaware that they are breaking down the barriers between the living and the dead. They are seduced by the feeling of using the hand and the illusion of safety that the rules afford them. All these things also feed into the audience's desire to bear witness to their horror from the safety of our own chairs within a darkened theater and in the company of others. It's when the character's safety net is removed that Talk to Me gets really interesting, and the spirits of the dead gain too much power over the living. The rules of the game and the way the spirits play with the living aren't adequately passed on from each person who inherits the hand. Because the perceived safety net gets muddy in translation as the hand passes from person to person. The spirits have much more control, and the audience is never quite sure where the safety net begins and ends for the characters. That also removes our safety net because we no longer know what's safe or unsafe and what's real or unreal in the story. And in my Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny review, I talk about why that ending didn't stick the landing. Talk to Me's ending follows the character's story to its natural and inevitable conclusion with a twist that is immensely satisfying. Now, that is how you make a great horror story. If that's all they did with this film, it would have been enough. It would have been a great success. Instead, Talk to Me also has an emotionally wrenching story about how Mia's mother died, which strains her relationship with her father. And that story is threaded throughout the film. We also get the story of a vicious old spirit trying to steal a living spirit, creating a mystery that needs to be solved before it's too late. Finally, the film shows the existence that spirits are trapped in when they die. It's a little unclear if that trapped existence is created by a violent death, a suicide, or otherwise traumatic end. One of my favorite moments is when the rules of the game are actually reversed in a surprising twist that ramps up the horror and the stakes as they try to save their friend. When you combine the compelling acting, the superb storytelling, and the thoughtful direction in Talk to Me, you elevate a surprisingly good horror story into a movie that kind of knocks it out of the park. This film is a winner, and I highly recommend it to anyone who loves smart horror. I would not be surprised if Talk to Me ends up on the Bram Stoker Awards shortlist for superior achievement in screenplays. If you're not familiar with the awards, I'll drop a link in the notes. Again, Talk to Me is for people who love smart horror. I would not bring children to this film. While it's not gory or gross, it's startling and the themes are scary for kids. Plus, it has imagery and ideas that are likely to stay with kids long after the film ends, especially after they turn out the lights at night. If your kid is young, sensitive, or scares easily, don't let them watch this film because it will likely give them nightmares. This is one of the best horror films that I have seen in a long time. If you see the film, let me know what you think. If you like this review, please hit the red subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. That's it for now. I will see you later. Bye.